Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter, and we are here at the final episode of the Mad Chronicle. Revised the memories remain, and it's called The Trail of a Life. This should be the finale of the story, I believe. So without further ado, let's jump in. The Trail of a Life.
When I woke from the illusion, Semelia was beside me, pale. She had been the first to wake, and immediately sought me out. Terwin's soul and memory, housed now in my arm, enlightened me about this world. I saw it for what it was. The prophet worshipped by the Order was me, from a prior world. Each time Geoffrey Librom bore witness to the end, he placed his hope in a new nameless sorcerer. In the vague, distant future.
If the prophecy holds true, awful things await you.
I set off despite her attempts to stop me. She looked ill with worry. Some paths cannot be abandoned, even if they lead to despair. I felt sure I would make the same choice should the world repeat 10,000 times. It would be ironic if that same stubbornness played a part in the world returning as it does. But even so, I won't leave Magusa to shoulder the burden of an unfair world alone. And if I truly had passed on my hopes to him in a prior life, then all the more reason. For I chose to believe those hopes had yielded this fate.
Okay, we're starting out with a fight against a kind of I don't want to say subspecies because they're completely unrelated. But we've got an iron virgin type monster called the Dullahan. So let's go ahead and read the lore. There was once a knight whose name was known the world over, but it was not his abilities that made him famous. Indeed, he was viewed with curiosity, not respect. Many thought him downright unsettling. It was the way in which he did battle. While most warriors took pleasure in striking their enemies and avoiding their blows, this knight was the exact opposite. Apparently, he would howl with joy whenever struck, and his face would twist with satisfaction. He's a masochist. This is not to say that he was a novice. He was able to predict his opponent's movements, and despite encouraging them to strike him, he would never allow them to land a fatal blow. This apparent insanity would baffle his enemies, and eventually became so disoriented that they would turn tail and flee. The knight didn't know when or why he had started to fight this way. All he knew was that he found receiving a blow from an enemy to be more pleasurable than landing a blow of his own. In training and battle alike, the knight fought to get hurt. Victory and defeat were meaningless. Nevertheless, his ability to make his enemies flee in the battlefield led many to believe he was invincible. Indeed, as his reputation spread, most opponents ran away as soon as they saw him, before he had a chance to engage them in battle. Such an outcome always dissatisfied the knight. With no opponents to strike him, he could not attain the pleasure he so craved. He realized he needed to do something to lure enemies into facing him, so he decided to tie himself up in chains, greatly restricting his ability to fight. Doing battle in chains caused the knight to suffer countless cuts and gashes, but this was exactly as desired. The thrill of taking himself to the brink of death was nothing but a joy. His perverse desire for pain was growing out of control, but the knight had no idea what to do about it. All he wanted was to experience more pain, more suffering. The knight acquired instruments of torture, and every night he would instruct his footmen to use them on him. And his eyeballs became engorged in excruciating pain. The knight would laugh maniacally and scream at the top of his voice for more. Many of his men felt uncomfortable, even sick, torturing their master. Some of them fled, unable to contemplate executing their orders. Eventually, the constant blood loss and pain brought the knight to the brink of death, and yet he was still not satisfied. Even after torturing himself to within an inch of his life, there was still one thing the knight desired: more suffering. More suffering and more pain. As his consciousness dimmed, the knight thought to himself, what is behind this insatiable hunger for suffering? Where does it come from, this desire that swells up inside me, this urge I do not understand? Perhaps... Finally, the knight understood what was behind his perversion. The fact that his desire was stronger the closer he got to death made it clear, and it was in fact very simple. He wanted a taste of death. Moments after he had come to this realization, the knight had a curious vision. A chalice appeared before him, glowing pure white. Soon afterwards, he heard a voice. "If you are able to pay the price, I can satisfy your desire," it said. The knight used his final dregs of energy to roar his assent. He would pay any price that would bring him further pleasure. The very next moment, the knight's body began to move on its own accord. His hand clasped his sword and put it to his neck. With one clean blow, the knight decapitated himself. As fresh blood burst from his severed neck, the knight's head fell to the floor. The pain, exhilaratingly intense, was accompanied by the realization that he had taken the final step. Death was his. The pleasure was simply indescribable. He had scarcely dared to imagine such joy even possible. Once the initial euphoria had worn off, the knight came to a realization. Though his head was no longer attached to his body, he was not dead. His decapitation had simply allowed him to experience the pleasure of death in perpetuity. In other words, he had joined the ranks of the living dead. Having transcended life itself, he could enjoy this pleasure for eternity. His face, no longer attached to his body, broke out in a broad grin. However, his happiness was short-lived. There was an inherent problem with his desire. After all, his wish was a taste of death was nothing more than a form of intense curiosity, and curiosity can never be sated. Sure enough, the knight was soon consumed by an all-new desire. He wanted to know what was next, what awaits after death, was death the end of all suffering, or was there more for him to enjoy? Alas, the answer to these questions remain a mystery, despite his intense focus on the matter. His headless form continues to roam the land, in search of someone who can make him suffer despite his undeath, someone who can satisfy his craving. Well, he needs not look any further. That's what we're here for. We will gladly kill him. If it is pain he wants, pain he shall get. I'm going to switch over to blood. Let's do this. I go now to seek out my old ally. It is not my choice alone. The spirits in my right arm, they desire it too. Their pleas, I cannot ignore them. The end of the world is upon us. As I travel to where Magusar waits, monsters appear in my path.
I want to find a way to change your fate.
Oh, she's got a new line of dialogue. I really like Samelia. Did you see her fingernails are painted green? It's so nice. Here we are. Julahan, my buddy. Lend me your knees and your head. Oh my gosh, look at that head. That is so hilarious. Oh, we'll kill the... Okay, yeah, that's... not weak to fire. I wouldn't think so. Let's try bombs. Ooh. He is weak to poison. Okay. Ouch. That hurt. Oh my gosh. I almost died there. Let me get his knees. These are the bee's knees. For some reason, people find Dullahan much easier than the Iron Maiden. I would probably tend to agree. However, I do find its head a little bit... okay, it's doing the same lashes of love. It's a good chance to try to hit the head, but like one hit from that, look at how much damage that takes. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Look, it's working.
Probably better just to bomb him from afar or heal.
That hurts.
Boom. Yeah, so we still got to get that arm when we got the 2 legs.
Keep it up.
I'm aiming too high. So if we can take out his knees, I think we'll get it down. And if we can get it down, then we can probably break... Oh, never mind. We just destroyed the ill-cursed part because we have the ill-cursed part damage up, which is always nice. Now we're just going for the legs. Sweep the legs, Johnny. Sweep the legs. Oh, and it died. Oh, well. I'm not going to worry too much about it. We have plenty of endgame Durahans to kill. But we got the ill part, so we should get to break rewards. Good, and we got both of them. Okay, so we got Berserker's Change, which is a bomb. A massive 490 attack. Awaken the magic of the Dullahan to explode on contact, smiting foes. And we have what's probably arguably the most popular armor in the game, which is the Dullahan armor. So this is a non-elemental one. So what it does is gives you, I believe it just gives you raw defense, like a huge bump of defense. But if it's like an elemental thing, like a breath of fire or something like that, it's not gonna save you. The stone armor can do that, but the stone armor will make you move really, really slow, where the Dullahan armor won't. So we're gonna go ahead and equip this because it is going to be very powerful.
Panic on her face, Semelia called out to stop me.
But is it? Is it really all the same?
I had my doubts as well. After all, the prophecy mentioned nothing of the great dream that had trapped mankind.
If I had never heard those words, I might not even have been here.
This is where your story begins. The words I had spoken in a prior world changed a girl's fate in this one. It was an optimistic thought, but perhaps the course of the world had been altered. Semelia looked as if she'd had an epiphany.
If we destroyed that, then maybe...
It was absurd. But if such a thing did happen, it would surely drive the world further off course. A big if. And how had she even thought of such a ludicrous plan under these conditions?
Here. It was just here. It appeared right before me.
I suddenly understood why she looked so unwell. She says it floats before her still. Another worldly, white vessel. Time marched towards its end. Once more.
The journal's author had a realization. The world repeats itself, but not in precisely the same manner each time. It was proven by minuscule aberrations there is the potential to pave a new future. The world can change. There is hope. Read on and experience the unexpected. Now, let's get back to our story.
The sacred chalice. Bestowed upon the world by one of its creators in order to see their divine will given form, or so the story goes. Then why appear now? Why present itself to Somelia?
If we destroyed this, then who knows?
The chalice has a role in the eternal recursion, true enough. She may be right. Removing it from the equation might yield some change. Might alter the nature of this unfair world. That hope soon died, and the realization it left stung deep. The chalice was an artifact given by the world's creator. I was naive to dismiss it as legend. We both were. Clearly, the world's recursion was the will of some great consciousness. And the chalice remains connected to that being. We were taught that our brief conspiracy to destroy the chalice was a treason upon the very nature of the world. The moment our spell struck it, space itself tore violently open. Perhaps that vast consciousness noticed us from past the veil. Took note of our tiny rebellion. I have no words to describe what appeared before us then.
Uh-oh, we just picked a fight with a god because Somelia saw a cup and said, let's break it. She channels the energy of Link from The Legend of Zelda, I swear. I would have did the same. Okay, so we have to read the lore in this one. This is the druid god Soul. So, it looks like a baby, but we'll find out why. At first, there existed only vast primordial chaos. Slowly, order began to assert itself, and the twin giants were born. Initially, they were without fixed form. At times, they were as diffuse and amorphous as smoke, whilst at others, they could condense themselves into a mass that was hard as steel. To ensure that the world maintained its balance, the brothers divided it between themselves. But in time, the younger twin became dissatisfied with this arrangement. Fueled by greed, he made his body expand until it began to encroach on his brother's territory. The elder brother, believing in the power of reason, decided that he would punish his wayward sibling. He said he would leave the entire world as his brother's domain. But then he asked, "Is this grossly swollen body of yours not a burden? Will it not hamper you as you travel about your territory?" Upon hearing these words, the younger brother immediately shrank himself in size. This had been his elder brother's plan all along, and he pounced the small frame of his sibling. Enveloping his brother, determined to prevent him from expanding in size again, he rolled the younger brother into a small ball, locking him in his new form. Unable to move, the younger brother became the earth. The elder brother, weighing down oppressively on his younger sibling, became the sky, and so the earth and sky were created. With his younger brother unable to interfere, the elder brother dominated the entire world. The elder brother abhorred chaos and greed, and so gave the world a form that would obey order and reason. The sun rose and fell, and so time was created. Snow, rain, and storms were each given their place, and so the seasons were born. The younger brother, now the earth, could only look on with jealousy as this all took place. His silent greed grew, enormous within him. At the center of the earth there was a sea of molten, swirling greed. This greed was pushed to the surface, manifesting itself as lumps that disfigured the land. These lumps became the first humans. It is said that there were two tribes of human. The first were ashamed that they had been born from greed, while the second accepted their nature and embraced this greed as their destiny and birthright. The first tribe was known as the Romulus. They despised greed, and they looked to the elder giant of the sky for guidance. They came to worship the heavens above them. The other tribe was known as the Druids. They gave in to their greed and sought guidance from the younger brother who slept beneath the soil. They came to worship the earth. At present, it is the elder of the twins that has claimed victory in this epic battle, but there is no guarantee this victory is everlasting. If the power that binds the greed of the younger brother were to grow weaker, then the world would become a very different place. Ta-da! So now we get a little bit of backwards lore on the twin gods. And now we get to go fight one. So I think we're probably going to need a platform for this one. Okay. Oh, and I almost forgot the Dullahan armor that we just got. And I think I can actually fuse it. So let me go to fuse. Stone, blood. There we go. The Tyrant Bindings Plus. This is the black armor for the Dullahan armor. This is going to be particularly strong. So let's go ahead and make this. All these black spells are just incredibly powerful. Oh, we only need 2 more offerings to get up to N32. Let's try it. So let's go fight the Druid God's Soul. The nameless sorcerer used the chalice to recreate the world. The chalice is the axis around which the cycle of destruction and rebirth coils. Such is the eternal recursion. The wish that Semilia wanted the chalice to grant. I could not hear it from her own lips. But why? What did she wish? What did she want so badly that the chalice was willing to appear before her? Probably asking her to sacrifice me in order to get it? I don't know. Something weird. We'll find out, maybe. Okay, what are we up against?
What's that?
Oh, good gosh. Death Stranding, anybody? So it uses a whip. It's got its brain and its wings that we can break. Ouch. I really should put on some armor. Dullahan armor. It's nice and beefy. Let's give ourselves 200. Let's quick use a bomb against the back of its brain or its wings. Luckily they're in the same spot or so. I want to get up there and hit him.
Keep it together. That's close.
Can we even hit its head from here? I don't think so. Oh, and we killed it already. Oh my gosh, that was fast. Never mind. Either blood is OP, we are OP, or that was meant to be an easy hunt. Because it's just a baby.
One rises in my mind, though, that begins to encompass its all. God. The will of the Creator, given form and place. Black bolts of divine judgment flashed brighter still, then lashed out to claim us both. I moved to shield Semilia from the brunt of it. And yet, it was she who pushed me aside. I saw her body flayed and broken. Perhaps we provoked the Creator's ire in our efforts to defy the nature of our world. Or perhaps that divine wrath was proof of something else. That we were succeeding in driving the world off its ordained course. And then, Another flash appeared. It seemed almost human, this thing grappling with the giant. They clashed and locked, growing more distant by the minute. For a fraction of a second, I saw a face I recognized. No, could it be Magusa? Our moment of despair passed, leaving us in stark silence. I approached Semelia's body and lost whatever words I'd planned to say. I tried to patch her wounds, but she merely shook her head.
It's too late. Just please stay.
How much more would be taken away before the end finally came?
A terrible price was paid for this hope. Semelia was given no mercy, for she had found the secret to resisting the unmoving world. She had effected a change in the tale, but it cost her her last breath.
I know. To you, I'm just one of a long line of acquaintances. But you're the first one who even remembered my name. The words you left behind found their way to me. They saved me. If this is fate, then the gods are spiteful beings. But you understand, your first partner was dear to you too, no? That's what you are to me. I feel no different. Sortiara was her name, wasn't it? Your old partner? I heard you whisper it just before you woke up from the illusion. I wish I hadn't. It was hearing that name that brought it here to me. Hearing that name is what called the chalice here. The wish that brought it was impulsive, raw, stupid emotion. I didn't want to save the world, or anything so noble. It was a childish desire. I wanted to be special to you, to be your one and only. But I resisted. I couldn't do that to you, violate those cherished memories. Please, just let me die. If you'd know when my soul became a part of your arm. You'd know. You'd see my heart. All my jealousy and envy and the ugly things inside me. I just couldn't bear it. But please, just remember this of me. Remember, I was glad that I met you. If the world's doomed to repeat, I look forward to meeting you again. I won't be able to stay with you, inside you. But please, think of me sometimes. Please.
If it weren't for Samilia, the truth behind this world would still be hidden. Eternal recursion would have carried on, unnoticed. What gave Samilia hope was a message passed on from the previous world. That our thoughts together can change this world. That it is already changing.
I took the apple she had held and placed it in my robes. A meager memento. She'd refused to dwell within my right arm. With this, I'd be able to recall the red of her cowl no matter how addled my memory grew. Some distance away, Magusar remained locked in combat, bringing his own will to bear against that avatar of divinity. Despite the mingling of memories and collapse of his identity, it remained within him. The duty to change this cruel world. He'd come from the previous world as a sorcerer with no name, bearing the hope that the world could alter. From his unusual actions, I could see what he was trying to achieve. Like Samilia, he sought to destroy it. I knew it must be there, hanging before him now. A chalice only he could see. Thunderclaps pierced the sky. I felt they were a chorus of ill omen, harbingers of despair. A fissure split the sky, and white light poured through it. I was made to bear witness. To watch the world pass sentence on a man with the hubris to rebel. A second giant descended. It was a sight taken directly from legend.
Oh boy, we got the rumble in the Necropolis East Town. East side, man. We got the Druid God Soul and the Romulus God Soul. Okay, well, I mean, the first soul was easy enough, so I think this next one is going to be pretty simple. These things have just been playing with us for millennia. You think they know how to fight? I don't think so. Let's whoop its butt. But we don't have Samilia with us, which makes me really sad. We were responsible for this strange spectacle. The world is stricken. It grows unbalanced. See? Our desperate efforts are not in vain. I stand next to Magusar. This is where I belong. Surely now the final battle begins. Kill the gods, giving us this horrible life. Can we just let them kill each other? I guess they can't, right? We've got to do it for them. So we should go around and smite the infant gods. Put some diapers on them. Oh, and we're with Magusar.
This is where
our story begins. Yes, it does. Watch out for that soft spot on the head, you punk. Make sure I don't break your brain. thought. I mean, this is basically because the older brother was a douche to his younger brother, right? I mean, this is how this all started. One was a greedy little bastard, and one was just a smart punk. So we got all his parts broken. Let's go after... So I think I was right. I think it's just... I think they're weaklings, but I think also... Gosh. Stop it. I think also... We're just overpowered at this point in the game. So let's get rid of this old elder brother first. What the heck was there? What did we kill? I don't even know. Oh wow, did we get them all in the same shot? Or is that scripted to happen like that? I don't know. I don't remember. Either way, my health was dangerously low, so... Photo finish. I love how the monsters in Alice's dungeon trump even the gods. So we get Lightning God Amulet. This is a armor. We get the Fell God's Lanugo, if that's how you say it. I think it's the umbilical cord. I don't know. Awaken the magic of the Druid God to crawl the earth seeking foes. Homing. Attack. Okay. The Just Gods one, which is also a homing. It's 100 power. And we got the Lightwing, which is conjure a magical wall around you. Attack. Other. Power 700. Only one cast, though. Sounds fun. It must be like 1400 attack if it was a black version. Sheesh.
The chalice's destruction. Was that not the nameless sorcerer's aim all along? Even while he traveled with me, Magusa sought the chalice. The reason he pursued it changed as his memories addled. Perhaps in the beginning, he'd set out to save the world. I couldn't rid myself of this thought. Rebellion against the Creator. It was the nameless sorcerer's will that had brought this about. It was a futile battle. Yet, I could not help but find hope in it. I knew he couldn't win. I was sure something in the world had changed. It was a subtle victory. Magusa kept on fighting. Long after losing any semblance of normal consciousness, my partner muttered something under his breath. The words were strange, yet familiar. They filled me with courage. This is where your story begins. I had to pass those words on, even if the world's end claimed all else. Had to see them safe to the next world's Red Hood, to be her hope. I thought back to Persepius' last words. The trail of one man's life can be another's beacon of hope. Perhaps our journey is a battle to pass on that torch. A handful of humans were able to draw the very gods out of hiding. Let that fact shine as hope for all we can accomplish. For now, we'll struggle till the last breath leaves us, so that those who come after us might take courage from our story. The world may end, but dreams will persist.
The world has not ended yet. The fight for hope continues as we speak. Read me to the end, for I contain a crucial message.
Magusa couldn't age or die. Even that was the result of conscious preparation for the day he would fight the gods. I believed that. Anyone would, having witnessed his tenacity. These memories the nameless sorcerer brought with him, the words and thoughts that he carried beyond the cycle of the world, now shook it. This is where our story begins. Those brief words were all it took to change the fate of the girl in red. We now faced the gods because she sought to destroy the chalice. Were it not for those words, the world may have ended differently. How long did the battle last? In the end, Magusa fell, and the gods took hold of his body. Now their pawn, Magusa came for me. I was torn apart, limb from limb. The only reason I still live is because my partner, now a monster, shared his blood with me. His immortal blood has made me a difficult man to kill. Even now, with his mind gone and his body stolen away, my partner still exists somewhere deep inside. If I truly hope to take up his mantle, I cannot back down now. I must stand resolute against the gods raging within him. And so, our arduous fight began. For years we fought. Until, losing all humanity, he became a tyrant, the whole world in his grasp. Sacrifices were brought from every quarter to extend his life. Each passing battle claimed more of me, until barely scraps of flesh remained. But I never lost hope. How could I, considering all that I'd inherited? It fell to me now to pass that on to my successor. That final wish changed my body. I took on a form well suited to the passing of knowledge. I was struck, seeing my body. Books of magic are oft referred to as grimoires. Grimoire. Grim. I could not think it a coincidence. The Prophet Grimm was, in truth, a grimoire, a book of prophecy. A single glance, and I was sure. The knowledge I passed on this way would educate those after me. Even in ways I couldn't imagine. If miracles do exist, no man is capable of prophesying them. That is precisely why, no matter what the crisis, we mustn't turn away from it. Hope can always be found if people pass it on.
The Prophet Grimm was no prophet at all, but a grimoire. The memories of past events within me will play out again in the next world. This is my story, and the trails of the lives of those before me. Whether you challenge Magusar is your decision. But if you'd listen to the wishes of an old book, these tales that we bear, the hopes of countless souls, perhaps you take them into the next world. They are your stories now. Go on.
Yeah, so I'm going to save these three, the survivors, the opening, continued, and closing. This is a long, really interesting story. I'm going to save that until the next episode when I talk about Alice's Maze. But for the time being, we are going to confront Magusar, and we're going to put an end to this crazy existence. We must have a lot of lacrima built up by this point. I haven't taken any for a while. Yeah, quite a bit. So let's back out of this. We saved our game because I'm going to have to do the multiple endings. We're going to challenge God.
You've read me at great length. Do you see what this all means? Magusar appears human enough, but the will of the Creator echoes within him. Yes, indeed, you are up against a god. But there is no other way to change this wretched world. I'm going to ask you again. Is this truly your final choice? If the world were to repeat itself, I would want another nameless one. There is no doubt the world is changing. The nameless one never appeared.
Mine and yours. Together.
I know that I can entrust you with these. My own scattered memories and the traces of lives long lost. Now you face a truly perilous journey. But remember these words. This is where your story begins. Do not fail me now. My name is Jeffrey Libram, author of that diary. I give you my soul. Go ahead, sacrifice me. They've taken root within your soul. All the memories formed in this confounding world. along with those words of hope that survived the world's rebirth time after time. Kill that rotten fiend, Magusa. Him and the grand conscience that has claimed his mind and body. It's what Magusa himself would want. He has always fought, from ages long past, to make this confounded world right. Memories convoluted, his own identity in tatters, but still he fights on. All because I pleaded with him in the last world, as I plead before you, even now. A strange kinship is ours. To me, Magusa is a very special friend. Ours is a bond that can never be broken. No matter how many times the world is reborn.
Now, a new story begins. I speak in Librom's place, heir to the thoughts of countless victims. This world, ruled by capricious gods, is at its end. The torch is passed to the mortals. Yes, this begins the age of humans.
Hello, God. Time to die.
You have finally come. Destroy me, and this deific will that controls me.
Oof. So he uses every element. This is earth. What am I doing? Thunder. Yeah, we downed it. He's dead. That was fast. Told you we're OP.
I realized
It's the end game that is challenging.
that Grand Conscience had not taken complete control of him. He was suppressing its deific will with all his might, waiting for the moment to topple the god. How many lifetimes has he waited? And now, he begs you to destroy him. His eyes speak volumes. He will sacrifice anything to change this world.
Super Dragon time. It's bigger than last time. That's what she said. Or however that meme joke goes. Okay, well, we need to heal. You see the chalice still in the dragon. Don't hit me, please. Thank you. Got some armor. Get shocked. Dude, you're spamming me. I can't move. I should probably check out if it has broke. I don't think we get any rewards from breaking parts, but you never know, right? So the tail's not breakable, but all the parts around his head is. The tail as well, so. Dude, you're too big. Let's see what's going on. Are the wings breakable? No. Oh, it's the little hands at the front that are breakable. Okay. We'll launch some bombs at him. Okay, I should probably heal. I don't need to increase the buff. I just need to eat the apple. He killed the apple. You know what that means? He's gotta die. God or not, no one touches my applesauce. No siree. Let's get up there, right in his face, and let's pound him in. There we go. That's a chunky boy. Chunky boy.
Briefly, the will of the god weakened, and Magusar was able to contain it. Magusar is begging you to destroy him. And at this moment, it may just be possible. This is your chance to claim the world for humanity. But it requires a sacrifice. The sacrifice of Magusar, who fought tirelessly to end the madness of this world. Will saving Magusar ruin all that he has fought for? Sacrifice Magusar and change the world? Or save him, no matter what it entails? It is in your hands. How this story will end.
What a Chad. So he's been holding on this entire time, even though he's been forced to do some pretty bad stuff. And he's been holding on to the chalice and the gods the entire time, not using his wishes, not doing anything. Just so eventually his bro, Libram, can teach a nameless sorcerer enough to come and confront him so that they can destroy him, aka destroy the gods. Well, this time we're gonna sacrifice. It is called soul sacrifice after all. Nice little levitation party trick. Smoke some mirrors, I tell you. And lots of blood.
Through sacrifice, your arm absorbed all the things that weighed upon Magusar. The will of the Creator within Magusar shattered, but the memories remained. Memories that hint at the true form of this world. The visions were dizzying. The foes we faced were only a tiny glimpse into the Creator.
This is not the end.
Magusar spoke from within my arm, where Librum's soul also resides.
But our time here is done.
What have we left to the world?
Whatever it is, my heir will make something of it.
Did we leave hope?
Your fight has purpose. I was watching all along.
Thank you. If so, then this was not a bad life.
Anyone born into this world must come to terms with its absurdity. The grand will continues to gaze upon our world from beyond. And the strength dwelling in your right arm can be used to resist the madness. The arm used to sacrifice the deific will, a sliver of which remains. A god's wisdom, a god's strength. A mortal assumes divine strength and stands up to face the gods. Only then can mortals claim this world for their own. A world where humans do not depend upon heavenly miracles. Impossible, it would seem. But even so, voices are heard from within the arm. Wish for it, and the world will change. Mankind will always hold hope for the future. But in the shadow of hope lies despair. The torment of dashed hope is itself a great price. The price of our bottomless want, surpassing that of all other beings. No matter the hardship faced, mankind will always hope, pray, and dream. Just look into the past. The pages of history are filled with people brimming with hope. It is only those who never lose hope who can change their own fate. Before you lose hope, think back to the tale that is told by a strange and magical book. Librum's final words changed everything. Our world, our fate, and our future. Let us part with those words, so the people of the future will not lose hope. Let this be our legacy. This is where your story begins.
This is where the video ends. You're not one of those people who actually don't stick around for the credits of something, are you? I can't stand that. Shimogawa Teruhiro, you are a Chad. Miyadera-san, you are a Chad. All of these people are Chads and awesome people. So that was Soul Sacrifice Delta. Now the great thing is, it's just like a game like Monster Hunter. Just because you finish the story does not mean that you finish the game. There's still a lot more to show you guys. There's still the whole extreme rank of difficulty, because what we were up against was only up to like 10 star? So not that challenging. So there are a lot more challenging quests ahead. We have monsters that I haven't shown. We have locations I haven't given you the lore about. We've got stories. A really significant one, actually, a very significant ending story in Sanctuary to go over in the next video. And we also have Alice's Dungeon, which is the end game loop, and all sorts of other stuff. So I still think that this playthrough is going to last for a few more videos. And then at that point, I will play cleanup, and we'll just do like, you tell me the length. Should it be an hour? Should it be an hour and a half? We'll do a video where I start covering monsters that we never fought, because this was just a critical path, as we call it. I just went through the story. I didn't do any optional side paths outside of a little grinding here and there. But we just sort of blitzed it. So we have tons to do. So let me know the length of what you think is right, and I will start to do videos so we can finish that all up, because I think that's part of the whole story as well. So in the next week or two, I'll be focused heavily on working on all of that. So we'll have this entire game pretty much documented for your enjoyment here on YouTube. If you're watching this and it's well beyond the beginning of November, so maybe you found this video later, maybe you took your time, you got through the series, maybe you didn't find this for years until now. Maybe I'm talking to the future. Well, I am talking to the future, technically. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. Hopefully you like whatever I decided to do with the remaining videos. I hope in some weird future that there's a remake of the game, and people are now rewatching this series as kind of a way to say, like, okay, what was this game? Here's the cast. Look at that. Anthony Byrne as Libram. Like, oh my gosh. All these voice actors just absolutely fantastic. Hats off. But yeah, my hope is thin. I'm not an idiot. This IP is owned by Sony, and Sony never really gave this game the love that it deserved. But the team that made it, like Marvelous and the producers and directors at Sony and Concept, like everyone loved this game to death, and it shows. So we'll keep a sliver of hope that one day it will come back. Some unnamed sorcerer, unnamed developer, unnamed producer, executive producer at Sony, or gosh, maybe even Marvelous, will go back and say, hey, this type of game was before its time. We can release it again and it'll do good. Let's at least just try a remaster and see how it goes. They certainly left the door open. Look at the Skywalker sound. It's like the Lucas guys, like with their incredible studio. There's so much went into this game. It's such a shame that so many people did not discover it. And it was on the Vita, which was a system that didn't get much love, at least outside of Japan. But even in Japan for a long time. So let me know your comments and thoughts below. Like, what did you think about the main story so far? Obviously, if you're watching this video, you haven't seen the sacrifice ending yet, or you haven't seen the save one, so we're going to do that in this video. And then, yeah, I hope you look forward to the next one. This game, for years, I kind of knew about it. I was off about Sony products for quite some time. I never really gave any thought to the Vita. I only had it because I think it was in between two Monster Hunter games on the 3DS. I was looking to play Portable Third, and so when I found out that you could get not a PSP but a Vita and use the second analog stick to move the camera, I was like, okay, I'm in. So I bought a Vita Lite because I really liked the design, and it was very light, and it was decently priced, and I got Monster Hunter Portable Third, and it was awesome. And then I got Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and I played through that a little bit. Well, not a little, I played through it. I just, I didn't play for like thousands of hours or anything. Then I got Feline Village Deluxe and played that again. And then the Vita just sort of sat, literally like a book on a shelf, just sat there for years. Until I met Rurikon through a chance encounter like a year ago. And we became friends. We started a podcast. And then I noticed he made videos talking about this game. And I still brushed it off because he's like, it's a cool Vita game. I forgot that I even had a Vita. I was like, okay, sure. Well, like, what was it, like some just anime version of Monster Hunter? Not interested. Boy, was I wrong. So it took. Sorry, I'm so bad at winging these, talking freely. But this is why I don't stream. I'm a socially awkward person. I'm not. I'm kind of an introvert in that way. But what's his name? Gaijin? I think that's how you pronounce it. But he donated the money to buy the game for me, and said, "Okay, I bought it for you. I'm not taking no for an answer. Buy it, try it." So when I tried it, I was hooked within the very first play session. I was like, "Okay, this game is awesome." And it is become my game of the year so far for 2021. Even though it's not my co-op player game of the year. That would go to Monster Hunter Rise. But this has been a real treat of a game to play. Look how many people worked on this thing. It's just crazy, isn't it? I did get the limited edition Vita, the Soul Sacrifice version. So that's a Vita 1.0. It has the OLED screen and everything. So the OLEDs are quite dark. I think that's the point. But the colors are really vibrant. So like when you're in that area with the pool of water, it's like bright blue. It's pretty cool. That being said, it's more of a collector's item for me. I do prefer to play on the 2000 series because it's just so much more comfortable because of how slim and how light it is that I really like it. My first playthrough of this game was the Japanese version. That's my main save. I did it as Sanctuary with blood and spears, which is why I chose to do that here as well. It would make it easier for me to bust through it all and show you guys the story. But I plan to do videos showing you all the amazing playstyles. There's about 6 to 8 really popular ones, and I'm going to show them off so you guys can see them because, like Monster Hunter, it totally changes the game. Like, it's just a whole nother level of enjoyment. Here we go. Marvelous AQL. They're the ones that made Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I loved. And I didn't realize until the other day that I didn't make many videos on that game at all because, one, I didn't want to spoil the story, and two, I was playing it with Yuna. And I didn't want to take time to make videos. I just wanted to get home and play it with her. Distant future, maybe? It's like the never-ending story. Whoa! What's all this knowledge? So they set up the opportunity here to really have a sequel if they wanted to. I don't think it needs a sequel. I would love one, but it would have to be directed by the director of this game, which was not Inafune, guys. That was a big misconception. The director was the other guy, and he was great. So save our progress. I guess saving it won't be a problem, so I think we're still able to redo stuff. Now saving. It's kind of funny, right? Now saving? Or are we sacrificing? Okay, now that I've awkwardly just blabbed through the ending credits of the game, let's see where it loads us into. And then let's go see that other ending. So we get the Sanguine Salvo Plus. We unlock the arm of the God Dragon, which I love. The God Dragon Slayer. So if we go up against it, which we will now, we're going to put that on. It'll make it go even faster.
You think you can stand it?
And it's like nothing ever happened. So, I mean, that really was the end of the story. But now there's other stuff to enjoy. So I do hope you stick with the series and watch the next few videos because they're going to be very interesting. Okay, so what was I going to do? Yes, we're going to go challenge God, but we have to change out our loadout here, I think. So let's go to our portraiture. Let's change our rollout here. Let's get rid of this one. It's the lower one, and let's change that to the God Dragon Tamer. What that does is increases damages dealt to the God Dragon and decreases damage from it. Very, very nice. Do we want to keep blood? Now let's spirit this time. And we still have tons of sigils to unlock too. Like, there's a lot of endgame content. These things go up to 7. Okay, that's how crazy it gets. Like, you can get your health up to 2,000, your defense up to like 900, your attack up to like 600. Like, there's lots of stuff you can do in this game. We still have the faction stuff. Let's go ahead and put on the arm of the God Dragon. It's a cool looking arm. Let me show you really fast this in case you wanted to see it. You can rewrite your level. If you accidentally, let's say you're trying to do a specific type of build, you can go on here and decrease levels. You can increase them, but they cost a lot. But we have a very easy way to level up, which I will show you guys in a later video, that will allow us to get to level 100 really fast. And then we'll be able to do this rite of transmutation, which is like endgame. It's like prestiging. You sacrifice all your levels, and you get a heart sigil. It's a brand new one. That gives you like a base 105% of whatever spell. So it could be a spear one, a blood one, bombing, homing, you name it. And you can start really having fun with the game. I'm going to edit out, obviously, any part that's a repeat of what you just saw. It's going to be completely cut, and we're going to just see the new ending.
You've read me, lost your nerve, have you? For heaven's sake! Yes, but I'm good.
We'll see if we get the same response that we got in the original game when we tried to save him here. He's like, what are you doing?
Heavens! Are you having second thought? Well, don't! This is not your choice, it's mine! I have faith in you! Don't you see? Nothing will change without sacrifice. No one will miss a bloody talking bee.
Yeah, that's the same dialogue that we had from the first one.
But why?
The soul of Liberum stirred from within me and spoke.
A world that demands sacrifice is not a world worth saving.
It was a reunion. It was not what Magusar expected to hear, but he knew that it came from the heart.
Thank you.
Magusar walked away from us, but just before he did, he turned and spoke. While the will of the Creator dwelled within him, Magusar sometimes saw visions that the battles that he fought were only a small window into the battles to come, that in the distant future, madness would once again cloud the world to fight the whims of the gods. One of us must stand up and assume their strength. Magusar said no more, but his intention was clear. The strength of God still dwelled within him, enough that he may stand up and fight. The soul of Liberum, deep within me, was fully cognizant of Magusar's plight. Wherever Magusar may go, he will watch over his fellow men like a guardian deity. What is my role? To rebuild the world of humans, knowing that Magusar protects us. We will not pray to any gods. Instead, we will look to the past, to the great men and women that lived before us and taught us of hope. Mankind will always hold hope for the future. But in the shadow of hope lies despair. The torment of dashed hope is itself a great price. The price of our bottomless want surpassing that of all other beings. No matter the hardship faced, mankind will always hope, pray, and dream. Just look into the past. The pages of history are filled with people brimming with hope. It is only those who never lose hope who can change their own fate. Before you lose hope, think back to the tale that is told by a strange and magical book. Libram's final words changed everything. Our world, our fate, and our future. Let us part with those words, so the people of the future will not lose hope. Let this be our legacy. This is where your story begins.
Okay, and then for saving, we get the Sanguine Razor Shot Plus. Good.
This is an awfully dirty...
Alright, so next video is going to be going into the Sorceress Deeds. And it's going to be mostly a story and then endgame content. So we'll check out the Survivors. These 3 stories are very long and interesting, and quite significant to the overall arc of everything. And we're going to go into Alice's Eternal Maze, and we'll go over that. If we look at packs, everything again is tied to your int. So as we start to face the monsters we never fought yet, because there's a bunch of them, and they're really fun. There's great stories and great fights and great spells. We'll start to increase our intelligence dramatically, and those will start to unlock the extreme ranks. And that's when stuff gets really fun, is the extreme ranks. And there's some more story, I think, to unlock as well there. If we go to the book, where's the book? The lore. We have a lot of stories we have not read. So for history and myth, we've got quite a few here that we've never read, which are really going to be really nice. So we'll do like a story time. Got a bunch of Arcfiend stories we never read, lands. We finally unlocked everything about Avalon, so we can read this whole thing as well. We already did Sanctuarium. We unlocked all of Grimm, so we can read all those. We have these Tales of Sorcery, which are some extra stories that are really nice. Those will get unlocked as we increase our intelligence, so we'll get to 45 as we get through all the rest of the content. And yeah, it'll be a fun time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought about the endings, and join me for the next one as we go into the endgame loop. Hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, Happy hunting.